I think it's live. I think it's good. Hi everyone, this is Lizzie and Clay with Gator CPR and GatorCNA. This is our very first live broadcast here, so we are still learning, so please forgive us if we have any little bumps or hiccups. Let me see, we are with Gator CPR and GatorCNA. You probably know that if you're here on our YouTube channel. And if you are in the chat right now, we would love to know where you are, dialing in from, where you're from in Florida or outside of Florida.
We don't have any chats at the moment.
Nothing yet.
So we're gonna hang till we get our first chat.
Yeah, and if you have any questions, go ahead and drop them in that chat, and we're gonna do our best to answer them. Okay, I think that says 0. Okay.
That's what I'm looking at.
Okay, all right. So we can just still practice until then. No, this is gonna be real cool.
We can go. Let's just start.
Okay. I did my start.
All right, we'll start over. Look, this is us navigating this whole process. All right, so Ronnie, our audio tech guy, is going to be laughing at this. So we're going to start from scratch. Ready? And our first viewer is, whether there's one on here or not, action.
Hi everyone, this is Lizzie and Clay with Gator CPR and GatorCNA here for our first ever live stream broadcast. If you are, dialing in or listening in or watching, go ahead and in the chat drop where you are, viewing us from. And if you have any questions throughout the chat, go ahead and drop those as well. We're gonna do our best to answer those. And while we wait for more people to join us, more viewers, I'm actually gonna turn it over to Clay, let him introduce himself and talk a little bit about our company and how we came to be.
So, welcome. So my name is Clay. I am the owner of Gator CPR along here with Lizzie. We've been doing this for about 14 years. That's an amazing track record. So we've made a pretty big splash in our community here with CPR 14 years ago. But 12 years ago, we realized there was a need. So there was a need for CNA training. There's a lot of people who actually are looking to get their CNA license. And we had identified this need and realized, all right, well, let's see if we can create something. So we spun off another product called GatorCNA. And we've been doing this for 12 years. We started out just in the infancy stages of just trying to navigate this process. Along the way, we had lots of help, all right, including Lizzie and all of our instructors who have actually been along with us along this ride. So I'm going to throw out a little shout out to all of our instructors if you're seeing this. Anybody who's done an instructor in the past, thank you. And those that are current our instructors, we really do appreciate that. But we really are proud about the product we have at GatorCNA. The product of GatorCNA is just we're trying to put more people out there into the community that are allowing, that are actually being properly trained and getting out there and either expanding on their careers or doing a career change. So we are very excited about this opportunity to bring to you a new product, which is our GatorCNA Online. We've been doing the online, the classroom portions for the 12 years. We now have been running an online product specifically for those that are outside of the Gainesville and Ocala area, for those also. And we are really excited about the future of GatorCNA. So we're glad you're here. So tell me, what do CNAs actually do? Why are we even here?
Yeah, so I mean, this is open to everybody. So we might have some people who are current students, some people who are still considering it, some people who don't even know what a CNA is and they're just trying to figure out what to do next. So on a kind of a broad scope of things, CNAs really focus in on comfort care. Where if you look at the opposite end of like the spectrum of healthcare, you have the emergency care, that really like high intense stuff, EMTs, emergency rooms, where our CNAs, we tend to focus more on day-to-day living, activities of daily living and comfort care. So helping people, whatever age it may be, from small infant all the way up to the elderly, getting dressed, brushing their teeth, making sure they're fed, and just making sure that in whatever vulnerable state they're in where they're being taken care of by a person, that their days are, lived out with dignity and respect, and they're having all of their needs met. So that's really what a CNA overall does. Now, where a CNA can work, that and who they work with, that has a really, really big scope. So Clay, you want to touch on where can a CNA work?
So who might want to actually become a CNA? There's different plans. I've already mentioned some of those. A lot of students who might be actually in their years of learning in their ways of trying to navigate their own future with their own schooling, they might choose to say, hey, this is a healthcare option for me. And so becoming a CNA is a great opportunity to introduce yourself into the entry level of the healthcare provider. You get access to the hospitals themselves, which you can actually work. There's many of our students actually roll out into right out of the gate into the hospital environment. Who else might want to become a CNA? So those that are actually looking for career changes. You might actually be working at a local restaurant and you're like, hey, I need to navigate something different in my life. I really would like to try something different. Well, a CNA is an actual entry-level position where you can actually find yourself in the environment where you're actually now in a huge realm of other healthcare professionals, and you can progress from there. The other is actually just mom and dads, someone like myself trying to manage maybe someone who's elderly, all right? And what we can do is actually learn those skills so I can parlay them into taking care of my own family member. But there are, and these are only the few instances that you might want to become a CNA. There's other reasons why you might become a CNA. There's many people who just have this very wonderful passion for taking care of folks. And that compassion care is something that, boy, that really, you're blessed if you're actually in that environment. So anyways, we really encourage everybody, if you're looking to become a CNA, this is a great, there's plenty of opportunities. We've got, other opportunities, so.
Yeah, I also want to say we are up to 4 viewers, which is the most we've ever had in the entire history of our streams.
Thank you.
So if you are one of our instructors, thank you for viewing. And if you have a common question you hear from students, drop that in the chat and we'll do our best to answer. And we do have a question, which is fantastic. It seems like an awesome way to study online without needing to come to class in person. Yes, absolutely. So you don't have to be in person in Florida, right? So there's a few ways to get your license, and one of those is by challenging the exam, which means you're basically testing out. Now, GatorCNA, we offer really 2 online programs. We have our videos completely free here on YouTube at GatorCNA On Demand, where you are right now, and that's just gonna be, you kind of working through it on your own, and that's fine. But if you do want some more support from an instructor and a structured lesson plan and lectures and a lot more in-depth detail to get you ready to challenge this exam, we have SurePass, which is our online course. You do not have to come in person to a classroom to learn. You do it from the comfort of your home at your own pace. So while I'm going to continue to read some chat, do you want to talk about more about like how to get your CNA license? Now we've talked about SurePass and
yeah. So again, Florida is a very special state. Florida is one of the few states that allows you to challenge the state exam. Like Lizzie said, every other state out there requires you to do at least an 80-hour program, usually done by some community college or some higher level. In the state of Florida, we have the blessing of actually challenge state exams. So you can do this one of 2 ways. You can actually challenge the state exam. You don't necessarily need our program. You don't need our program. You have the videos here, but a lot of times people have no idea where to even start. And that's where we come in. So as to become a, so one of the things that we do is, you've got a lot of things you have to navigate. A lot of things. You have a background check. You have Prometric. You've got to be able to make sure you're effectively studying, and what do I study for? So that's exactly what we do. So the background check itself, I'm going to talk, because the background check can be a little bit of a challenge, so I'm going to let Lizzie talk about one aspect of one of the prerequisites of your state exam.
Perfect. I will talk about that next, but before I do, we do have another question here. It says, hi, I'm an incoming freshman planning to take the online course, and I was wondering how I would be able to practice the skills before the exam. Is it free to go into the Gainesville location to practice? All right, so that's a wonderful question. So if you're an incoming freshman, that means you are qualified to take the CNA exam. One of the prerequisites is be 18 or older, or if you're under, then have your high school diploma. So if you're coming into college, fantastic, you're set to take the exam. Now, if you're doing it fully online, this is a great question. How do you practice the hands-on portion? So we do have what we call Open Lab available for purchase at our Gainesville and Ocala locations. And that's, again, exactly what we just said. It's the time to come in and practice. Now, that is included in the cost when you buy our in-person programs at either location, but it's not included for the online program. It is a $100 fee, so you can purchase it if you want to. But if you college students, I was there once, we gotta save our money where we can. So what we really recommend for those online students is learn the skills, watch the videos at home, and then grab your roommate, grab your friend, grab a parent if you still live with them, grab a sibling, throw them in a bed, and you're gonna practice those skills on them. Now, with our online program, we also have what we call SurePass Complete, where you can buy a kit and we can ship it directly to you. So, well, if you don't go that way, you can kind of makeshift some things. If you have to practice a skill that has a basin in it, you can use like a pot or something. But if you want the real deal like equipment to work with, by SurePass Complete, you get a whole kit shipped to you, and then you have drainage bags, and you have basins, and you have containers, and you have clothing protectors, and bed pads, and a bunch of tools that you can use at your disposal to practice at home.
Pretty much everything except linens and dentures, you're going to have it there. So you'll have a gait belt, you'll have all this stuff, bed pads, and toothattes and toothpaste. We're going to provide that pudding or applesauce if that's your preference. Yeah. So it's a great resource for you. We also have another resource for flashcards. That's an actual opportunity for you to actually have a big old stack of knowledge. And for those of you who like to challenge yourself with quizzes and such, so you have flashcards as well. I want to go on to more about the Prometric application, if that's okay.
Sure, yeah. Do we go back and talk about the background check?
Oh yeah, let's finish
before the
that.
question. All right, but so to summarize, you can buy a kit to do at home, you can grab a roommate, or you can purchase Open Lab. But going on to the background check, which is needed to actually get your CNA license. It's a level 2 background screen. That means you're gonna find a live scan vendor. We do happen to be a vendor in Gainesville, and you are gonna go in, make an appointment, and you're gonna make sure you're using correct what's called an ORI. That determines where the background screen is sent. You're gonna get a scan of your fingerprints, you're gonna get a photo taken, and then that will be sent off to FDLE for a search of any of your records, and it gets moved to the Department of Health clearinghouse. Now, on the other end, while that's in the clearinghouse, you're gonna move on to the next step, which is filling out the Prometric exam application. This is you declaring that you wanna take the exam by testing out, by challenging it. This is also where you're going to declare where you want to take the exam. There are test sites all throughout Florida. We are a test site in Gainesville. We're a test site in Ocala, but you can take it anywhere in Florida. It's totally fine. Anyway, so once that application is in, both parts, right, both documents here, the background screen results and the application, are going to be sent to the Florida Board of Nursing to be reviewed. It's going to take a few weeks. It is a little lengthy review process, right? This is Florida. We have a huge aging population, so we have a huge amount of people who want to become CNAs. So it's going to take a few weeks to review your application, and eventually you are going to be approved to test. Once you're approved to test, you're just going to, show up to your test date, whether you call them to schedule it or you wait for them to assign you one. And then once you take that exam, then you are a CNA at that moment. No extra paperwork. If you finish testing at like 11 a.m., you can go apply for a job as a CNA at 11:30 if you want to. You are instantly a CNA, which is one of the really cool things. It's one of the quickest ways to actually earn a license in the healthcare field and start your healthcare career. So with that, let me see, I don't have any more questions right now, but those of you who've just joined, feel free to drop any questions you do have into the chat. We are just kind of poking it in there, looking around as we see them come through. But in the meantime, Clay, do you want to touch on what are some common mistakes we see from our students and from the 12 years of experience that we see over and over again?
This is important because this is something that most students that come through our system are going to have. There's so many moving parts. You got a background check, you got Prometric, you have the state of Florida, you have FDLE. What else? There's all these moving parts. So with that, there's a lot of times that things get caught or stuck or hung up. So we actually have a phenomenal tool for you at GatorCNA.com under the Prometric tab, where it's an actual opportunity for you to determine where you're at in the process of your application. Because again, there's many things that could happen. So ideally, your goal is to actually get, like Lizzie said, your background check and your state exam done pretty much roughly around the same time frame, within a day or two of each other. So then those two can actually work together. Both Prometric and the state application can look to see, does an application, is an application here and is a background check here, and can we actually match the two? The problem is, there's one of the most common mistakes we face is at the Department of Health, where the Department of Health and the Prometric application can't match your application, your application with a background check. So that's where we actually use this tool. We have a 100% success rate in the solution, but if you don't know the solution, we have it for you. You can go find it at GatorCNA.com, look under the Prometric tab, check the status of your application. But one of the things you want to do is you always want to remain proactive with your application. Don't just submit your application and just sit back and wait. We do encourage you to always check your spam folder, always log back on to your Prometric application and see where you'll be able to see the status of your application and where you're at. Here's the deal. Lizzie, myself, all of our CNA instructors will be able to help you navigate whatever common mistakes happen. But one of the more common mistakes that we all face is that issue with Prometric application matching with the background check. What other common mistakes do you might see?
Well, before we get back into that, we got a few more questions. We got more questions. We love it. So it says, that's amazing. What are some of the success stories of students who have gone through GatorCNA on demand? All right, so I love that question. So we actually operate 7 days a week. We have classes constantly going. So our success rate is constantly evolving. But the last time we really sat down and did analysis, our pass rate was around 92%. But as far as the specific success stories that I love, they come from our instructors. So a lot of the people we end up hiring as our instructors are students who came through, and they just kind of stood out and were shining. And so, I've owned the company for a little over about 11 and a half years now. And so seeing people grow from being just a student to now coming on staff, and I get to build a relationship with them. And now there's probably 10 plus of them that are actual doctors right now. And that is wild to be able to see them from like their, not infancy, but their adulthood infancy into being like full-fledged doctors is really cool for me. Do you have a specific story that comes to you?
No, I'm thinking of all the, I can't even list all the number of employees that actually have moved on.
Yeah. Hi, Sulov and Sam, if you're out there.
Robert.
Yeah, Robert. We got a lot of them.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch. Sorry if I missed your name.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And we got another question. It says, would you be able to talk about the exam setup itself? Like, would it be online for the written portion, or are the skills and written exam both in person?
Good question. Go ahead.
Okay, for me. Excellent. So you do have to be in person for the exam. There are approved test sites all throughout Florida. Again, we're a test site in Gainesville. We have one in Ocala, but these are all throughout Florida. So you do have to go in person for the exam itself to an approved Prometric test site. Now, the test sites have a pretty standardized way that they have to, be set up to meet Prometric's standards. And so regardless of where you go, it's going to be fairly similar from site to site. Maybe different flooring, maybe a different brand of equipment, but for the most part, the same. Now, when you come into test day, you are either going to do your written exam first or your clinical exam first. The written exam, you're going to be taken to a computer with a few other people in your computer lab. You'll meet with a proctor there, and they're going to walk you through how to take the exam, get you set up on the technical aspect of the computer, and you go through the questions. 60 questions, it's all multiple choice, and you have 90 minutes to complete it. Now, if you get done prior to those 90 minutes, that's fine. You can just finish it up, so you find out right away if you passed or not, and you go wait in the lobby until it's your turn for the clinical. For the clinical, you're going to be taken into a clinical lab where there's beds set up, there's mannequins, and you're going to be paired with another person taking the exam that day. Now, there are a lot of skills where you have to perform it on a real person. Some you have to do on a mannequin. If you're performing the skill on a real person, you're performing it on that person that you're matched up with. And so that means you might also play the role of a resident. So you might get your feet washed, you might get your teeth brushed. So be mentally prepared for that. That is an interesting experience, but I also really like it because it really builds empathy, because you now know what the residents you'll be taking care of one day are going through. And you're gonna know how awkward that feels the first time you have a stranger brush your teeth, right? But both are in person, both are the same day. The big things for test day is make sure you come prepared. Talking about those common mistakes, there are a few things that are going to get you turned away from test day, right? So if you don't have closed-toed shoes on, they will turn you away. And you have to repay that fee, which is $155. It's not cheap. So make sure you come prepared. You're wearing the right clothing. You don't have to be in scrubs, but closed-toed shoes are a really, really big deal. The other thing we see sometimes is the ID. You have to have a physical ID. That ID needs to be in pristine condition. You can't take a photo of an ID, right? And if you have a driver's license and it's peeling, they will also turn you away for that. So make sure you are prepared with the correct credentials. So for the first form of ID, you want something with a photo that's government issued. So a driver's license, a state ID, a military ID, a passport. For the second form, you need something with a matching name and a matching signature. So common ones we see are social security numbers and credit cards or debit cards with your signature on the back. I got a little off the rails there with that rant there, but I hope that answers both of those questions. All right.
I will say with our, I do want to actually just clarify, we are actually here doing this live stream for the sake of your success, or those that you might be working on behalf of. We want people to pass the state exam, all right? So everything that's in our program, to the fact that we have multiple options. If you're here locally in Gainesville or Ocala, you have access to our full online course. At the same time, the online course is only part of it, because you actually get that full in-person opportunity where you get to practice the skills under the supervision of an instructor. And under that, once you leave during this wait time, again, this test itself might take anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks. As long as you're following the process, staying proactive, you can pretty much get a test date within 4 to 6 weeks. But coming to the classroom, you get all of a sudden, you get all that, a bunch of information in your brain during that time. But then when you leave, while you wait for the state exam, you have access to all the online components, and then you have access to come back and open labs. That is actually available for our Gainesville, Ocala, or anybody who wants to come stay with a friend and come to our program and go back home to them and then go back to where you live. But we actually have many people who come see us. But if you can't, we also have our online product. So the online product is really specifically, it is just as successful. We've had a lot of success with people passing the state exam using online. The online is actually there. It's got all the skills written, all the skills laid out for you with all the checkpoints to you. Actually, you can actually go see a free preview right now. Go to GatorCNAOnDemand.com for a free preview where you can access 3 full modules and see what the product's about.
Yeah.
We
actually, one of our lead instructors, talking about success stories, she was an online student who happened to be in Gainesville. Yeah, this guy. She came in, passed the exam, applied for a job, and became our lead instructor for like 2 years. So I would say that was a pretty good success story for the online program.
Yeah.
Which is very cool.
Well, we are here, unless there's any other questions.
Let me see. Yeah, we are, this is our first time doing it, so we appreciate those who joined in for the live. We are going to start wrapping up, so if you have any more questions, again, feel free to drop them into the chat. We do, intend to do this moving forward at some point on a weekly basis. Maybe not right away, but if you have specific topics you would like to hear us talk about, or if you want to just leave it to an open forum, or if there's a better time or day that you think would be better for you guys, put that in the chat. And if you didn't get your question today, you can always email us. We are here to help. We want you to succeed. How can they reach us, Clay?
So, phone number 352-727-4733. Email CNA@GatorCPR.com, or you can go see us if you want. Again, I'm strongly encouraging, if you haven't already done so, if you're trying to evaluate our product, or you're currently in the position of navigating a possible challenge of your state exam, you can always again go see some free previews at GatorCNAOnDemand.com. And for those of you who are existing students, thank you. For those of you who are future students, we really appreciate this opportunity. So
And we have one more question if we have time.
It
says, can I start the online course at any time, or is there a specific start date?
I'm going to say you sign up now, you'll get your module now. So no, what we do is the moment you press click, you submit, we are now part of your team. So yes, you can start immediately. You'll get full access to the online course at the click of a button. So yeah.
All right. Thank you everyone who participated in the chat. It's really way more interesting having you guys in here than not. And so we appreciate time. Stay tuned for our next live session. We will send out emails and a blast and keep everyone posted.